Week 21, day 4. In the book, it says, The Eyes Have It. In the book, See at the Top by Zig Ziglar, there are many great stories about people and the way we interact with each other. One story is about an old man many years ago in Northern Virginia. It was bitterly cold and he was on foot trying to cross a river that had no bridges. He decided to ask for a ride to the other side. A group of horsemen approached. He allowed the first, second, third, fourth, and fifth rider to pass without asking any of them. The last rider rode by. He looked him in the eyes and asked if he could have a ride across the river. The horseman replied that certainly he would give him a ride. Once across the frigid water, the horseman helped the old man to the ground. Before leaving him, he asked the old man why he let the first men on horseback ride by, not asking them for a ride. The old man replied quietly that when he looked into their eyes, he saw no love and that it would be useless to ask any of them for a ride. When he looked into the horseman's eyes, he saw compassion and love. I just knew you would be willing to give me a ride. The horseman was very touched and expressed gratitude for what the old man said. With that, Thomas Jefferson rode off to the White House. We have all heard that our eyes are the window to our soul. In this case, the old man read Thomas Jefferson's eyes correctly. Look at question number 1. If you had been the last rider, would the old man have asked you for a ride? That's a tough question, isn't it? If you'd have been on that last horse, would that old man want to ask you for a ride, or would you have that look of unfriendliness? If he looked into your eyes to see your soul and he saw that you had never developed the quality of being friendly, would he have asked you for a ride? Harvey Firestone said you get the best of others when you give the best of yourself. What does that mean to you? If you're going to be a friend, if you want somebody to be your friend, you've got to be a friend. I got a story from a friend of mine, and I got to tell you, these lessons have been the greatest, most positive things in my life. I got an email from a parent that's sitting at home with their children in the evening, and at the dinner meal, they're going through these lessons. I know of several football coaches that are going through these lessons with their football team. I know of a man in Arizona that's meeting with a friend of his and spending an hour a day covering these. And I got a story on friendliness from a person that told me, said, I think this is a great story. And it is a great story. And we're going to, if you have a story, you send it to me. And next year's curriculum is going to be better than this year. Because it won't just be my stories. It'll be everybody that's out there. This story talks about she was a nursing student. And she really did well on tests. Matter of fact, she was an outstanding test taker. And so when she got ready to take the final exam, she goes in and sits down and she just breezes through the test. And the final question, it says, what is the first name of the cleaning lady in our building? And the lady said, I'd seen her almost every day because she was there cleaning while we were there. And so I saw her every day. And I smiled and I spoke. But I had no idea what her first name was. And she said that one of the other students said, are we going to be graded on this? And the professor said, that may be the most important question on the test. The people that you work with, you need to know their first names. You need to speak to them every day. The lady in the story said she left that test, went and found that lady and asked her what her first name was. Her first name was Dorothy. And from that day forward, she said she never hesitated to stop and say, Dorothy, how are you? It's good to see you. You know, my father-in-law was probably one of the best men I ever knew in my life, Lawrence Metcalf. He started out as a janitor for Kraft Foods and ended up being a vice president for Kraft Foods. When I was graduating from college and wanting to go into coaching, my wife's mom really wanted me to go to work for Kraft Foods. So I went out to visit Lawrence out at the Kraft Food plant there in Garland, Texas, and we visited for a while, and then we went to lunch. Now, the plant in Garland had an executive dining room, and I mean a fancy dining room for the executives. We went down to the cafeteria for the normal workers, the day workers, the night shift, just the workers. Lawrence Metcalf never ate with the executives. He ate with the common workers. And he went down and he sat down and he knew their names. I mean, the day I sat there, I watched him, one of the greatest lessons in my life. He knew every one of their first names. He knew what their kids were doing. How's your son doing? You know, is he still in college? How's your daughter? What's going on with your family? These people would have jumped off of those trucks for him. The reason he was so successful at Kraft Foods is because he cared so much about the people. He worked with the executives, and he got along with them. But he spent time with the common man, the workers. George Washington walked through the camp at Valley Forge every single day. He met the soldiers. He talked to the soldiers about their families. He was friendly. He knew them by their first names. He said, good morning, how are you? If you're going to be a better you have to develop the quality of being friendly. You gain nothing by being unfriendly. Find their first names. Call them by their first names. Ask about them. Find out about them. Make sure you know who they are. See you tomorrow.